Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Francy and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. Today we are doing a fun video for me, I have to say, which is my goals stay or go. This video is done once a year. Halfway through the year, I allow myself just once, just in this video, the opportunity to go back to the goals that I created at the end of 2022 for 2023, or well, what I do in this video all the time is I go back to the goals that I created at the end of the year before for the current year, go through them again, and I give myself this one video to have the power of veto. If you haven't watched Big Brother before, power of veto, the power to eliminate, basically. So I allow myself the power to strike off goals as we do move along, and I may even edit goals as we move along. So it's called goals stay or go because I go through every single goal that I did create for myself for 2023 at the end of 2022, and I might say this one is staying, this one is going, this one is staying with certain conditions. It really all depends. I am now going to go back through that goals video while in between takes while I'm filming this for you. So it's been a while since I've seen them. I'm going to be surprised to see where I'm at with them and to see what I'm going to do with them. Let's begin. So the first goal that I had was to read at least one standalone a month, and I'm pretty sure that I've done this. I keep a track of this on my Discord. If you're on the Discord, it's under my reading/bookish goals section under my name, the channel name Mr. Francy, and I list the standalones that I've read so far in 2023. It was last updated at the end of May. It wasn't updated for June, but in June I did read a standalone. So I think I did read a standalone every single month so far. I have no reason to eliminate this goal, so we will keep this one and we'll keep on going. Goal number 2 was to complete at least 15 series on my SAS list by the end of 2023. For those of you who don't know, a SAS list is a list originally created by Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, where you put a number of series onto a list and you plan to get through them by the end of the year. That's the most simple way to explain it. I have a total of 16 series on my SAS list. The goal was to get through 15. I have at this stage read 9 of those 16, and I believe I will get through all 16 series by the end of the year. So there's really no need to eliminate that goal. That goal will stay. So my third goal for 2023 was to read 100 books. At the halfway mark, I had read 68 books, so I'm well over halfway. This is very much achievable. There is no need to veto this goal. So far, 3 goals in, we haven't vetoed any of them. It's a good start so far. Goal number 4 is to read 10 classics by the end of 2023. I'm definitely on track in achieving this. I've so far read 6, I think. No, 5. 5 of the Chronicles of Narnia books, plus I read Aladdin, so that's 6. I will definitely get to the next 2 Chronicles of Narnia, which will make 8. And then I have 3 classics that are not part of Chronicles of Narnia that I plan to read towards the end of the year. So this goal is very easily achievable. And also I have a motivation to keep this goal because I want to read more classics than I have been this year. So this one will stay as well. So goal number 5 was to read 20 classics by the end of the year. Let me tell you this, by the halfway mark, I had read 19. So, and have I read one since then? No, but I do plan to read Death of a Pumpkin Carver by the end of this month, which will be my 20th classic. So that goal will be achieved by the end of this month. And I know that I'm reading a heck of a lot more as I continue throughout the year. I did have to place an embargo on myself when it came to my cozies and my fantasies because I want to be more well-rounded when it comes to my genres. So I'm only reading cozies at the moment that are on my SAS list, but even just doing that would exceed the expectations of the goal. So no need to get rid of this goal either. Okay, we found our first goal. We're vetoing, and yes, you can hear the excitement in my voice because we're finally vetoing a goal, which is the point of the video. So, my next goal, I don't remember what number we're up to, but the next goal was to complete all, at the time, 3 Discord buddy reads that I had going at that time. So what ended up happening, there's been a lot that has happened since this goal was set. The first thing that happened was that the 3 became 5 Discord buddy reads, and then today, a number of those buddy reads ended up getting cancelled for one reason or another. It just worked out that way. So honestly, in order to keep myself on track and to give myself the chance to complete every goal that I've set, I will veto this one because I don't even think there are 3 buddy reads left on the Discord. So this goal is, we're going to clap, vetoed. The next goal was a bit complicated, but it came down to I needed to have the majority of my October TBR featuring horror books. Now, the reason for this goal no longer applies, but I am still going to keep it. The reason that I came up with this goal was because I used to exclusively read horror in October, but I didn't do that in 2022, and I wanted to bring it back in 2023 in order to ensure that I read mostly horror in October. But the thing is, I have actually been reading horror prior to October this year, and so yeah, I am already reading horror, and I would be able to fulfill a goal to read 6 horror books before I even get to October. But in saying that, the reason for the goal itself does still exist for me. I want my October TBR to be dominated by horrors. I can give you a little spoiler now without telling you the books themselves. I already have done my October TBR. I have all of my TBRs for each month up until the end of the year already planned, except for December, where I need to figure out some Christmas books that I'm going to add because I like to be Christmassy in December as much as I like to be horror-y in October. So I'm just going to quickly check my my October TBR and see if it is currently dominated by horror, but I'm pretty sure it is. Okay, yep. So far I have 11 books on my October TBR and 6 of them are horror, which would mean I would be completing that goal. I was very specific when I was making this goal in saying that I want to have the majority of the books on the October TBR be horror, but not necessarily that I need to read all 6 of those books. In other words, I need to at least attempt them, but if I DNF them, that's okay. I'm still reaching that goal. So I already have kind of achieved the goal. As long as I just stick to the planned October TBR, then I already have the 6 horrors there. No reason to veto. We'll keep this one and we'll move on to the next one. Apparently, I only read 1 horror book last year, and I'm just intrigued. If you'll indulge me, I'm just going to check what that 1 horror was that I read last year. I should have known. It was The Housemates by Ian Rob Wright, and it was fantastic, and that's probably what motivated me, because it was so good. Arguably the best horror that I've ever read. So, no wonder I had this goal. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the next goal was a 2-parter. The first part was to unhaul 12 books in the month of June and then a further 12 books in the month of December in order to create room on my bookshelves. I did I actually unhauled more than 12 books in the month of June, and I did upload that. I filmed the books that I was unhauling for the purpose of the goal, so you can go back and watch that if you would like. I think I ended up unhauling 14 books, so I've crossed that part off of the goal. I've checked the first half. The second half of the goal can't be completed until December when I unhaul a further 12 books, but or at least 12 books. I'm definitely keeping this goal on my goal stay or go list because I want to make sure I do that. I have a limited amount of space. I mean, some people have less bookshelves than I do. I have 3, and I'm glad that I have 3, but you know, when you read as much as I do, those bookshelves fill up very quickly. So in order to make that room, I need to ensure that I do book hauls. And if I don't set it as a goal, I will forget. The books will pile on top of each other, and then we're just going to have an avalanche, and we'll have to send out a search and rescue team for Mr. Francy, who's buried under all his books. So this one will stay. Okay, so the next goal is to choose 5 authors I have given 5 stars to before and read one more of their works. That is a goal that I will need to check into and see how I'm doing with. I wouldn't be surprised if I've already achieved this goal. So I'll just have a look. One moment. Okay, I can safely confirm that this is done. I have achieved it. I've probably read more than 5 books from authors I've already given 5 stars to. So we'll keep this because it's already achieved and we'll move on to the next one. But it's a good goal. It's a goal that I had heard of before. I did not come up with that one on my own, but I just thought it was a great goal. And if you want to use it in your future goal setting, then feel free to do so. Think of any and all authors that you've given 5 stars to before, but you haven't read more of their works, and you want to set a goal to read one more of 5 authors, or more or less, that you've given 5 stars to in the past that you want me to read more of their works. But yeah, I've completed this one, so no point in getting rid of it because it's already completed, so it's already one check in my favor when we get to the end of the year, so don't want to get rid of it. We like our check pluses. In the video where I set the original 2023 goals, I'm actually listing off authors that I'd like to reread works from that I give them 5 stars to. And it's interesting, the very first author that I mentioned is Sean Horton. I read Cenote a number of years ago. It was a horror that I love that is not available in physical form, which annoys me, but putting that aside, I still haven't read a Sean Horton, and I probably won't by the end of the year. But the next one was Kevin Van Wy, and I did read his next book, Nate Plus One. I also mentioned Frances Hodgson Burnett, and it's important that I bring this up here because recently I actually researched Frances Hodgson Burnett for other books of hers, and none of them really intrigued me, so I just didn't pick them up. But if you have a Frances Hodgson Burnett book that you would like to recommend for me to read that is not A Little Princess or The Secret Garden, please do so. It'd be great if you could first confirm that it's available on audiobook, because I listen to audiobooks exclusively these days. But yeah, if you have one in mind that you think I'll love, let me know. But yeah, I had a quick look on fantasticfiction.com and just none of them were intriguing me. But if you have an idea, I won't shy away from it. I will certainly be all ears. The next goal was to read 6 LGBTIQ plus books in 2023, and I'm pretty sure I've already achieved this. Yeah, more than. I've actually read 7. And that's at this point, and I already have at least one LGBTIQ plus book on my TBR this month and one already for next month. And I'm sure I have at least one LGBTIQ plus book that I'm reading for every single month for the remainder of the year. So I have overachieved on this goal. So it's a check plus plus plus. We are definitely keeping this one. And I'm glad, look, at the end of the day, there are things that I do that, I like to do because I don't see them necessarily done a lot on BookTube. And one of the things that I really want to do with this channel is put a spotlight onto amazing LGBTIQ plus books. Being that I am part of that community, it not only does it seem right, but it's something I want to do because if you'll quickly indulge me here, I'll be brief. I did not have these books growing up. I didn't have access to LGBTIQ plus books growing up as a gay boy. And so I think that for anyone, no matter what stage of their life that they're going through, whether they are part of the LGBTIQ plus community or allied to the LGBTIQ plus community, if I can shine a light on great books for whatever reason that makes them a great book, then I want to do that. And I, of course, also want to read them as well, but the main purpose being to shine those lights on those books. So we will definitely keep the goal. The goal has already been achieved, but I'm glad that I've overachieved on this one. Check triple plus at the moment. My next goal I have not achieved, but I will achieve, and that is to read 4 dystopians in 2023. At the time of filming, I have read 3, and I'm currently reading my 4th. So I've read the first and second book in the Matched trilogy, and the first book in the Uglies quartet, and I'm currently reading the second book in the Uglies quartet, and then next month I'll read the third of both, and then I think the following month I finish off the Uglies Quartet, so do we 7 dystopians in total. Yeah, there was a reason why I set this goal, and that reason is still valid today. I love my dystopians when they are done well. I had to DNF a dystopian series earlier on in the year, and that did annoy me, but I love my dystopians. If you have any great recommendations for dystopian books, I'm always on the lookout for them, so you can inundate me with your dystopian recommendations either in the comments section below, or if you're over on the Discord, feel free to recommend them over there for me too, because I love my dystopians and I want to read as many as I can. Just so you have a list of what I have read so far, I've read the Divergent series, I've read the Selection series, I've read the Hunger Games series, and I've read the Arc of Aside series, and as I mentioned, I am currently making my way through the Matched Trilogy and the Uglies Quartet. So if you have any other dystopians you want to recommend, YA preferably, although I did read 1984 and I love the second half, and that's apparently an adult dystopian, although now it's a classic, then please do let me know, because I am on the lookout. But we're definitely keeping this goal, and while it has not been achieved yet, it will be achieved by the time I finish the book I'm currently reading. So, and I'm not far away from being done with that one. So safe to say that this goal will be achieved with a check plus by the end of the year. I love this next goal. So I'll tell you what it is and then I'll explain why I love it. So the next goal is to have 12 TBRs and 12 monthly wraps. The reason why I love this goal is because of the passion I have for both types of videos. So this is a goal when I first originally set it was a number of years ago now when I first set it. It was because these videos seem to be slowly disappearing, especially from the bigger booktubers I was following. They were either not doing TBRs, not doing monthly wraps, or not doing both, and I have always loved them. TBRs for me are just a great preview of a certain amount of books, no matter how many you plan to read, and monthly wraps are like a home shopping network for me. I mean, you can have your QVC or whatever else you want to watch. I have my monthly wraps. I watch them, and yes, I'm old school. I used to sit there with my pad and pen and watch monthly wraps and listen to what people were saying, and the more honest they were in their reviews with their monthly wraps, the better it was for me. Just quickly indulge me again with this one, and I'll tell you why. The more honest someone is in a review of whether they like something or not, the more it's going to help me or any other viewer, any booktubers out there looking to do monthly wraps, please take my advice. The more honest you are, the more you help your viewer, because everyone's bookish taste is different. So if you don't like something in a book for a certain reason, let us know what you didn't like and why you didn't like it, because then we can decide if that's something we're going to like or not like, and whether we actually want to pick it up in spite of you not liking it or not. So yeah, I love these types of videos, TBRs and monthly wraps, and if you are a booktuber and you have the time and the means, please do monthly wraps and TBRs. Hashtag save the TBRs, hashtag save the monthly wraps. This goal has been achieved to the point that it can be at this stage. I have done all of my TBRs, including my July TBR, and all of my monthly wraps up to the end of June, and this will be achieved by the end of the year. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be. So yeah, it goes without saying, this goal stays. The next goal was to go back to doing regular reading vlogs. I have achieved this. If you saw my reading vlog from a couple of weeks ago, I was kind of saying something along the lines of, well, I'm going to talk to you about 2 books you've already seen in my monthly wrap, and the 3rd book that you haven't seen yet I'm considering DNFing, but I'm still doing it anyway because I've done all of my TBRs so far and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And I'm proud of myself that I did. The following reading vlog that I did was amazing. I had a great week the week after that, which isn't that the way? You have horrible weeks and then the following week it can be absolutely amazing. You know, anything can happen in any given week. But I'm proud of myself that I've kept up with my reading vlogs, but it's also served an amazing purpose for me, which is in the monthly wraps, because I read somewhere between 11 and 13 books per month. It really depends on the month. I don't have a lot of time to discuss with you all what the premise is as well as my thoughts, thoughts in the limited time it takes to do a monthly wrap. So by doing my reading vlogs, it gives me a lot more time to indulge in a discussion on the books and my thoughts and feelings, and even the opportunity to go into some spoilery detail. And I used to do book dedicated reviews. I don't do them anymore, just because, I just don't want to do them anymore. So I get that opportunity in my reading vlogs where I will put spoiler tags up on the screen and discuss a spoiler, or even in a non-spoilery way, get to go into more detail. So I love the reading vlogs, and I'm glad that you all are loving them too. So far, I am up to date. I have not missed a week yet, and I don't plan to. So this goal can stay. Wow. The majority of the goals are staying at the moment. Oh, wow. I need to make a quick point here. In my 2023 goals video that I'm watching during takes, between takes, I should say, I made a point that is fantastic because it relates to right now. I filmed that video in December, and I said that I was missing doing my reading vlogs because I wasn't doing them in December. And the reason I wasn't doing them then had nothing to do with not wanting to do them, but because of what we're exactly doing right now. My favorites and non-favorites of the year weren't allowing me time to also do my reading vlogs. This month in July, I am actually dedicating myself to, yes, favorites and non-favorites like this video, but also to ensuring that I still get my reading vlogs done. And I'm so glad that I managed myself that way and that it came up here, because I get to validate the fact that I've learned 6 months later how to not only do my favorites and non-favorites, but also to ensure that the reading vlogs do still come out. So yay, good work, future Mr. Francy, from learning from past Mr. Francy. Let's move on. Okay, this goal's a little more complex. It is to read the new releases of certain cozy mystery series. So first up is Amish Candy Shop, and the new release being Blueberry Blunder. In actual fact, the funny thing about that is I'm 2 books away from picking that book up, so that's good. The next new release I wanted to read was the next book in Secrets and Scrabble, which this has been a funny situation. The next book in that one is Lament at Loon Landing, which was due out in October last year, then November, December, January, February, March, April, finally came out at the end of May, and it's finally now on my TBR for this month. And I'm also then reading the book after that because I had to wait. So originally I would have read Lament at Loon Landing last year if Josh Lanyon was able to keep to the original publishing date, but because for whatever reason that wasn't able to happen, I made Lament at Loon Landing my goal, but I'm also going to edit this goal to include Death at the Deep Dive to ensure that I read both of the new releases that have come out. And the final one is the Poppy McAllister book, which I think it's called Mischief Nights and Murder. If I remember that correctly, I get a cookie. You know what? I'm going to check and see if I got that right. Oh, bada bing, bada boom, I get a cookie. It is Mischief Nights and Murder. I didn't even look and I remembered what it was. I miss Poppy McAllister. That was the biggest shock for me for the first half of the year. I didn't know how much I was going to miss the Poppy McAllister mystery series. I miss it so much, and I cannot wait for Mischief Nights and Murder. Apparently, the expected publication date for the Kindle edition is the 25th of July. So I don't know when the expected publication date is for the audiobook and for the paperback. But whenever it comes out, best believe Mr. Francy is going to be reading that one. So that goal for those 3 series will remain. I'm laughing because I said the final goal with such gusto. I was like, and finally, my final goal is to DNF books I'm not enjoying. Yes, I am a massive advocate when it comes to DNFing. If you're not enjoying a book, life is too short. In fact, you know what? This is perfect timing to discuss this goal. My mother messaged me earlier today. She was reading a book and she wasn't enjoying it, and I set her up with the audiobook. And so she messaged me earlier today and she said, I'm so sorry, I'm really not enjoying this book and I know you set me up with it and I feel really bad. And I felt bad that she felt bad, and you can imagine how that cycle went. But Anyway, my point being, I told her right away, Mum, if you're not enjoying it, put it down and we'll pick up the next great book. The worst thing any reader can do, and I was thinking this at the time, the worst thing any reader can do is continue to force themselves to read something they're not enjoying. It is the fastest way to stop reading. And so I think if you're not enjoying something, put it down and pick up something else that you know you will enjoy. And so yeah, I set this goal for myself to ensure that I stick to that as well. You know, sometimes there's that great saying that's can be quite adequate, which is those who don't do teach. And you know, sometimes I would stop myself from DNFing, but not this year. You know, if I get to a certain point in a book and I'm not enjoying it and I know it's not going to be for me, I have DNF'd it. And I actually DNF'd 2 books ago. I picked up a book this month in July. I picked up a book that I didn't enjoy and I DNF'd that one right away and picked up a totally new book that I loved, by the way. And that's always a funny thing too. Not only do I advocate DNFing, but part of the reason why I DNF, and just part of the reason why I advocate DNFing is because every single time, without fail, that I DNF a book, the next book that I pick up is an amazing read. So I absolutely, I think of the old, if you'll remember back in the day, the old Rolodex, you know, yeah, the Rolodex. Wow. I mean, that takes us back. We don't have those anymore, do we? But the old Rolodex where you take out a card and imagine if that card is the book, well, tear up that card and spin again and pick something else. Okay, so I went on to specify the goal, so I need to come back in here and just add that the goal officially became to DNF books I'm not enjoying and also to start the new book right away. And there is a pertinent reason for that, and that is that it's one thing to DNF, but if you DNF and don't start a new book right away, then you're living in DNF territory until you pick up the next book, which may not motivate you to pick up one for a long time. And the next thing you know, a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, and you haven't read anything. So I do think that both sides of that equation for the goal do fit here, in that it should be DNF any book you're not enjoying, but also at the same time pick up and at least start the next book. So I've always got a book going, and that is what I always do. And I think that's become a habit for me as well, because I don't like being without a book. So even if I finish a book, I always will start the next one. Even if I just start the first minute of that next book, I always want to have a book going. Are you like that? Let me know in the comments below. You may not be, but that's me. I don't like having nothing that I'm currently reading. It's just my way. And that's the end of my goals that I set for myself. I think there were 15, so that's not bad at all for me. Some people might say it's too many, but I think last year I had 19 or 20. But yeah, I think I only vetoed one, which was the buddy read, and it makes sense as to why I need to veto that one. But yeah, otherwise, keeping all of the goals, and I'm pretty much either I've completed or over-completed a goal, or I'm very much on my way to completing the goal. So I did pretty good this last year, at the end of last year, creating my goals for this year, because I've been sticking to them. So I'm pretty happy with that, because it's not always the case. A lot of the time with these videos, my goals stay or go. I'm DNFing. I keep thinking of the word DNFing. It's in my head now. I keep vetoing a ton of goals, but in this one, we only did one. So there you go. Okay, so in the comments below, let me know of a goal that you have set for yourself and how you're doing with that one. And if you have a goal that you would veto that you set for yourself, what would it be? And are you going to veto it? Let me know that too. But in the meantime, that is where I am going to leave it. Now, I am coming back. Oh, I am so glad I checked there, because that's not true. No, I'll finish my sentence. I was going to say I am coming back with more favorites and non-favorites, but no, I'm not. This was the last one. So that is it. The favorites and non-favorite season has come to a close for the first half of the year. Wow. We are officially moving on into this second half of the year, and I wonder what it will bring. By the time we get to December, what will be my favorites, my least favorites, my best books, my worst books? Have I DNF'd any other books? And how did I go with my goals? And there'll probably be another bookshelf tour, as much as it takes 3 hours to film. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the favorites and non-favorites for this first half of the year season series. And in the meantime, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. It really does help with my channel. And hit that notification bell. Ding, click on all so that you are ensured to get all notifications anytime I do upload another video. But in the meantime, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.